So this is kind of an apology. I don't even really know if an apology is necessary for this, but I feel kind of badly about the last video I posted. And, you know, it's not that there was anything bad in there or, you know, toxic or, you know, abrasive or anything like that. But I feel badly about it, so let me explain. And actually this came to me through kind of an epiphany that I had, which was kind of a 3 or 4 day epiphany that lasted, you know, not like a momentary one where you go, oh, aha. It wasn't like an aha moment, but it kind of followed me around for a couple of days since I posted the other video, which was a couple of days ago. And what's funny about it is the epiphany started before I even shot that video. So I know this sounds all crazy, and let me explain what I'm talking about. First of all, the first thing that happened was I have been trying to write this grant, right? And I've been so busy lately, I just haven't really had time to attend to it. So I went back to it the other day. It's a New York Foundation for the Arts grant, and I thought it was a filmmaking grant. And when I finally opened it up, because I knew the deadline was approaching, I opened it up and I find out during this cycle, there's no filmmaking grants. Like they have different genres of art through each cycle, and for this one, there was none for filmmaking. So I was like, oh well, I'm not going to write this grant. But then I noticed that there was one for playwriting. Now, I haven't written a play in a couple of years. I mean, I guess I'm mainly a playwright, you know, and a solo performing artist. But I've been kind of a full-time filmmaker for the past couple of years since the pandemic. But I had a play that was ready to open. I've talked about this a lot at my channel here. I had a play called The Red Plaid Suitcase that I had worked on for a few years, that I had developed, that I had, you know, done the brass tacks of memorizing, which for me is really difficult because my solo plays, just me on stage, nobody else, they're like 2.5 hours long. So you can only imagine, there's a lot of words to memorize. So I had prepared, I had incredible collaborators. I had this lighting design where I looked like a hologram on stage. I had music on stage with me, live, you know, musicians, and it was at the Signature Theater, which is probably, I mean, I don't want to say the most important theater, but it was a big deal. It was going to be a big thing for me. And when it was canceled, I was devastated. And so I wound up adapting that script, that theatrical script, to a screenplay, and I made a movie based on that story. And the thing was, it was quite a process for me to let go of my theatrical script. And I actually had to go through a mourning process because, you know, I kept trying to shoot the movie based on the theatrical script, and I was hating everything that I was shooting. And I realized that I had to let this play go as it was written. And I had to start from scratch and create a screenplay. And so that was very emotionally difficult for me to do, to let this play go. When I get involved with something like that, it's years of development, and this was part of a trilogy that I've been working on for 17 years, and you know, it was very personal. It was about, you know, the fact that I had actually found my biological mother's family, or they kind of found me. But anyway, it was a lot of stuff that had, you know, kind of been building for my whole life. So it was not just a play, it was like a life thing. But you know, all of my art for me is kind of like life things, you know what I mean? It's like I take everything so personally. And so anyway, I let that go and I wrote a screenplay and I made the movie. I even changed the title because the play was called The Red Plaid Suitcase. The movie became The Center of Distance, and I shot it with my phone. That was my first foray into filmmaking. I learned so much. Thank you to all the YouTubers, and it became an award-winning film. And you could see it, you know, it's on streaming services, and don't tell anybody, but you could also see it here at YouTube. Because a lot of people don't want to pay $3.99 to support artists, so I wanted to make it for free so people could see it. So I let it go, and it was very difficult, and I had not looked at that script since 2020. Not once. I just kind of let it go. I could feel it in my chest talking about this right now. I don't know, I couldn't look at it. I felt like this was the greatest work I had ever done, and I felt like it was a play that was never going to be seen because there was no way I was going to go back and re-memorize that play unless somebody was going to pay me enough money to take care of my life for a whole year. And then what was the return going to be for me? And I was just thinking more like for my life, do I want to sacrifice for another 4 or 5 years in hope that maybe the play will go to Broadway and become a commercial success and I can make some real money? And I mean, it's a crapshoot. Theater is hard, Like, I always made enough money at theater to live, to survive, but on an almost poverty level. And I'm not joking about that. But I love it so much. Like, it's like my lifeblood. It's my oxygen, it's my water, it's everything to me. Getting on stage and sharing a story with an audience, for me, is my life. It's unbelievable. I could never describe it to you in words, and that's why I'm a writer and a theater artist and a poet and a musician, because sometimes just words can't do it. That's why I love filmmaking so much, by the way. And so I'm tying all this together. The other day I decided to look at that script because I thought maybe I can submit this for the screenplay. So I started to read it. And even opening it up for the first time in almost 5 years was weird, to say the least. I started reading it and I started to get way into it, and before I knew it, I was like performing this play, like I was doing it full out. Like, I'm sure my landlords were wondering what the hell was going on because I was projecting like I was in the theater and I was whispering and I was just in it, and I don't have it memorized. A lot of it is in me. Like a lot of it I probably do have memorized, but I was just reading it, right off my computer screen. And I just found myself completely lost. Like I didn't even remember where I was, to be honest with you. I was just lost in the story. I was immersed in the whole thing, and I cried like 6 times during it. I wept at the ending because the ending of the play I had completely forgotten. And the ending of the play is actually exactly what happened in real life. And I'm not going to share that now because I'm going to do something with this play now, and I don't want to ruin the ending for you, but suffice to say, it's so heavy. And it made me weep, as I was working on it. I was sobbing, It's a very profound circumstance, let's put it that way. But I also, when I finished, first thing I thought was, wow, that's the best art I have ever created. Maybe not the most important because it's all about me and my life, and, like I always tell people, like I teach writing workshops, I teach playwriting workshops, I teach performance workshops, and I tell people that you should always do at least one memoir piece in your life. For me, it wound up being 3 because it became a trilogy, because mine was so extended, because I was adopted, I was fostered, there's like so much to my story, and it just continues to reveal itself over the years. It's like I never seem to be amazed at all the surprises that come. Actually, I am pretty amazed at the surprises that come, but anyway, I thought this is the best work that I've ever created. And I carried that with me for a few days. At the same time, I was working on a film for somebody, a short film, kind of a short film / documentary / lifestyle video. I don't know what it was, to be honest with you. It's some project that somebody that I know is doing, and she asked me to film it. And it was really a beautiful project, very spiritual, healing kind of thing. I would say it's in the wellness category. Kind of like, like I don't want to call it like yoga or Pilates or something like that. It's some kind of a spiritual and kinesthetic physical practice. And so anyway, I shot it. They wanted to make it look like a movie or a documentary. And so I shot it, and I actually used the GH5, which I'm talking into right now. I decided to use the GH5, Panasonic GH5 for my main camera for this video, and actually I'm using the S5 for that angle. I used both cameras for the shoot. I got to use these lights that I had never used before, so I got to design these lights, and I did all the set design. I did everything, you know. It was a solo shoot, just me. Did all the sound, did everything. Came out beautiful, really beautiful. And I was completely lost in it. It was also challenging because, well, I'm not going to get into why it was challenging, but it was, you know, equal parts amazing and pain in the ass. Totally equal. And so I came home one night after the second night. I was with them for 3 straight days. And after the second night, I came home and I was like, you know, I haven't put up a YouTube video in a few days. And a friend of mine, my friend Noelle, what's up, Noelle? She had said to me, what's up? Like, you haven't posted a YouTube video. And I've been posting like crazy ever since right before I got monetized. I wanted to ramp it up so I could get past my 4,000 watch hours. But what I never realized, what I never really considered, was that it took me 4.5 years to get monetized. That's one journey. But then when you get monetized, that's when a whole new journey begins. And I don't want to take for granted this opportunity to have this thing now, this YouTube, you know, entrepreneurial, artistic opportunity to make some extra money and also to contribute. So I was really tired that night. I hadn't even eaten, to be honest. You know, I just wasn't feeling great. I was dragging, but I said, you know what? I got to turn on the camera and shoot a YouTube video. And so I didn't even know what I was going to say. I wound up talking about, you know, you should know why you're here, which is a good subject. And I did a video, just a talking head, no B-roll, no nothing. I did set up the lights. I did make it look good. I think it looks beautiful. I love working in the dark like this. And I was proud of it, you know? And let me just check something here. Okay. I just want to make sure I hit record on my Zoom H1N. So anyway, I shot the video and I put it up, and I didn't feel good about it. You know, while I was editing it, if you want to call it editing, you know, I was just adding some music and doing stuff like that to make it somewhat presentable. You know, what was not getting past me was that I had just done a video pretty recently kind of criticizing easy mode on YouTube. Like, I feel like you should at least make an effort, you know, to do well, to create something that's, you know, really pleasing for people to come see. But I also realized that's kind of judgmental, you know, so I pulled back on that a little bit. But for me, easy mode is, no, I'm not doing that, you know. I'm trying to make every video look like a short film or a documentary, or feel like more than just me talking in the car or just talking in my kitchen, like about, you know, what I shopped for today or what I cooked or what. I'm not doing that. So I felt like the subject matter was meaningful enough, but I didn't really have any intention, you know. I didn't really know where I was going with it. And so in a way, I felt like I just threw it up there, and then it started to feel disrespectful to me, you know. Like, I felt like I was disrespecting you. And I don't know, you know, like, I did have the best of intentions, but I really had no specific intention. I was like, you know, I kept listening back to it and watching it and thinking, what am I really contributing here? You know, I could have said this in one sentence, like, if you're making a video, if you're telling a story, if you're making a play, if you're making a movie, whatever, have some kind of idea of where you're going. You should know where you're going, what you're doing, what's the point, you know, what's it for? What is your contribution? What are you offering people? And I didn't feel like I really had that, so I felt bad about it, you know. And so I realized that I did that because I was monetized, because I never would have done that before I got monetized. And I'm not saying I'll never do it again, because I might very well do it again at some point if I just feel like it, you know. And we're all human, and sometimes, you know, I'm kind of reckless and I'm very spontaneous in many ways in my life. And if I feel like it one day, I might do it again, but I'll probably feel badly about it again. And it probably won't perform well on YouTube again, because this one didn't perform well. It did fair, but fair for me. For anybody else, it would have been a complete disaster. I didn't even get to 100 views. But the thing is, I feel like I have 100 legitimate, organic followers. And so it's really to you that I'm saying, I didn't do my best, you know, I didn't give you my best. I didn't think about it. I didn't, you know, consider the fact that you are taking your valuable time and coming and spending some time with me. And I don't want to do that, you know. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. And so being monetized can change you. And so even though it is a new journey, you have to stay true to yourself, you know. And this is me kind of talking to myself. Like, that's what my work is based on. All of my successes in the theater, in music, in film, and wherever I've had success. You know, and I haven't had like celebrity success, you know, but I've had success. I've been able to live doing this for many, many years now, you know, albeit within a great struggle, but I've been able to live making art and sharing art. And I've performed thousands and thousands of times all over the world. I've had the most blessed, fortunate life of any artist. That's how I really feel. I've had experiences that I could share with you that would make your head explode. They're so beautiful. You know, like just something that makes me realize every day how valuable and how important art can really be. How important it is. And I want to approach YouTube the same way I approach everything else. You know, always. And so I apologize for that. Even though it wasn't something stupid or offensive or anything like that, it wasn't all of me. I wasn't compelled to do it, you know. I have a rule with theater and film where if I don't feel absolutely compelled to tell a story, if I don't feel like I need to tell the story, otherwise I might die. Like I have to share the story with you. It feels so important to me. Like I feel like it's really giving you something of great value. If I don't feel that way every single time, I promised myself a long time ago I would never get on stage unless I felt that way. Even if it's just a poem on a Friday night at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe in a slam, if I don't feel that way, I'm not doing it. Same thing with a movie. And a movie, of course, it's such a huge commitment, just like a play. It takes years for me to do it. If I don't feel that way, why would I do it? Why would I waste my time? And certainly, why would I waste your time? You know? And so I want to approach YouTube in the same way, but it's harder because like, first of all, I could talk, obviously. You know, I got these 45-minute YouTube videos, and thank you for watching them. But I could come on here every day. You know, if I was into easy mode, you'd be so sick of me. I'd be on here all the time, and I would probably be making real DoorDash kind of money. But I ain't about that, you know what I mean? Like, that's not the kind of artist that I am. And so for me, YouTube is art. You know, I'm trying to at least do something with each video that at least feels like a documentary or a film, a short film, a movie. I'm not trying to just put up the camera in my car and update you on, you know, how I burned the broccoli last night. I ain't doing that. I'm trying to bring you something that's inspiring, you know, that's uplifting, that's encouraging. You know, I love that people tell me what they're doing and the projects that they're working on, and sometimes they tell me that it was because of some inspiration that they got from my video. That's everything to me, you know, that means everything to me. So I guess I just came on here with this video to say, hope I did better with this one. I'm so grateful that I looked at that play. It reminded me of who I am and what I'm about, and I'm going to do something with that play now. But it also made me appreciate you even more, you know, because it reminded me of my rules of theater and film and how I need to treat YouTube the same way, with that kind of respect, you know, with that kind of honest and organic energy exchange, right? It's just not all about me just posting to post, to be monetized, to try to make money, to get sponsors. Like, no. It's really about you and me. So, sorry about that. I will do better. And all of that.